I've been rapping since way back. See, I got dreams of buying me a Maybach. I'll pray for that. All this shit, nigga, who paid for that? If you take me out the picture, then the world collapse. The world collapse. But there's one thing they don't recognize. When I step up in this booth, nigga, it's hammer time. It's hammer time. I got this gold cause I gotta shine. Your negativity will never penetrate my mind. May I remind that you know I came a long way. I need to send my mama flowers every Father's Day. Father's Day is feeling like a tidal wave. I'm in the dark, but my mind, body, and soul is brave. Soul is brave, nigga, I feel like my time is up. YOLO, so grab the weed, nigga, fire up. Dodo, sometimes I feel like I'ma self-destruct. I'm on a mission, before I die I'll make $1 million. And that's what's up, nigga. One day y'all gon' see me on TV and on big screens. Gotta make it money on my mind, yeah. And if you hating, I don't got time, yeah. Yeah. If you don't wanna ride, you ain't gotta ride, gotta ride. If you don't wanna ride, you ain't gotta ride, yeah. If you don't wanna ride, you ain't gotta ride, gotta ride. If you don't wanna ride, you ain't gotta ride, yeah. If you ask me what I mean by that, if you ain't fucking with me, nigga, take a step back. So step back, I evaluate my situations. Off my creations, dominate the money making. Money making, if this rap shit's a big mistake, then it's back to whipping work like I'm baking cakes. So no mistakes, but we living in the ghetto, bro. So I gotta carry straps to the corner store. But you know I came a long way. When it came to bullet strays under beds we lay. But to understand my mind state is like to try to fuse a line with the primate. And I understate, but you know I'm just trying to make it. I only got one opportunity, so I'ma take it. Shit, fuck the faking, this is the memoirs of a real nigga. You only hating cause you know this shit is ill, nigga. For real, nigga. One day y'all gon' see me on TV and on big screens. Gotta make it money on my mind, yeah. If you hating, I don't got time, yeah. If you don't wanna ride, you ain't gotta ride, gotta ride. If you don't wanna ride, you ain't gotta ride, yeah. If you don't wanna ride, you ain't gotta ride, gotta ride. If you don't wanna ride, you ain't gotta ride, yeah, yeah.
It has the most incredible history, and I think that was part of the thing that drew Joanne and I to it. We love science, and we love healing modalities, and math and geometry and all that, really ancient yogas, ancient stuff. And so when we found out, like, who built this thing, George Van Tassel built the Integratron. He conceived of it. He was an aeronautical engineer and a Tesla scientist. He left an exemplary career in aviation. He was working for Howard Hughes on advanced aircraft. He worked for Lockheed, Douglas Aircraft, Edwards Air Force Base. And he moved his wife and 3 daughters out to Giant Rock, which is about 3 miles north of here. Nothing, rock and sand. Giant Rock happens to be one of the largest freestanding boulders in the world. It's about 7 stories high, estimated to be about 100,000 tons of just one giant piece of granite. He claimed to be in communication with these space people, as he called them, the space people. Venusian, some others, he wrote about them a lot, he channeled them all the time. And he claimed that he had a physical encounter with a spaceship out at Giant Rock in 1953 in a summer night. And that they told him that he could build a machine that would extend our lives 20 to 50 years. And that if we lived longer, we would gain and pass on the wisdom needed to save our race. Because as we just get wise enough to actually live really, consciously and chill, we leave. So he spent the next 25 years of his life building that machine, and that's what the Integratron is. He called it at least three or four things. He called it a rejuvenation machine. He called it an anti-gravity device. He called it a time travel device. tabernacle.
The formula came from a ship that landed at my airport in 1953 on August the 24th, which had 4 people aboard it that came from another planet.
I'm breathless.
Well, you're not only breathless, I was breathless.
But I'm cynical, too.
Well, that's fine. That's the way to be. In fact, I'm a bigger skeptic than you are of many things.
I'm an unbeliever. Convince me that this really happened to you.
It happened on my airport, which I've operated for the last 16 years, at Giant Rock Airport, 17 miles north of Yucca Valley in California, or 40 miles north of Palm Springs. Well, actually, Jack, this was as simple as crossing a street and getting hit by a car. After it's over, you're the victim of the circumstance. And I didn't see the ship land. One of my son-in-laws, that wasn't my son-in-law at that time, saw it come down. Another man on the airport heard it, and he wasn't where he could see it. And the man got off of the ship and approached me before I even knew there was a ship down. It was 2 o'clock in the morning and approximately a full moon, which is like daylight on the desert.
Were you walking about outside or what?
No, I was sound asleep when he awakened me. Well, something awakened me. I asked him what he wanted because we have a lot of people come in stuck in the sand and broken axles and whatnot. And I asked him what he wanted, and he said, "My name is Solganda, and I would be pleased to show you our craft." I got out of my bed and went aboard the ship at his request. It was when he stated this I saw beyond him the ship, which I hadn't seen before.
What did you see?
A bell-shaped type of anti-gravity ship that they operate as a scout ship out of their big carriers. I was inside of a ship about 18 feet in diameter and roughly 10 feet high to the domed ceiling, and there were 3 men on the ship, besides the one that had got off and invited me aboard. They were about 5'6". They came about to my eyebrows, and they could have walked in our clothes down any of our streets, and we wouldn't have paid any attention to them. They didn't say where they came from, but I've been in the air game since 1927, and their instruments were unlike anything I'd ever seen before. The difference was that we used dial instruments, and they used vertical instruments, like fluorescent tubes with marks on them.
What color were these people?
The instruments were marked in symbols similar to hieroglyphics. They were not in any language or number system we use on the Earth. They looked like they were white people with a good, healthy tan. After we got off the ship, the man who invited me aboard, who didn't look a day over 28 years of age, told me that he was over 700 years of age in our time.
Oh, come off it, George.
That's right.
Was this the guy who gave you the formula for the time machine?
That's the man.
And what form did the formula take? Did he implant it in your mind by telepathy, or did he give you something written in English?
He spoke it to me verbally.
And you remembered this?
There's nothing to it to remember.
Will you tell me now? The
Yes.
formula for a time machine.
F equals 1 over T.
F equals 1 over T.
F being frequency and T being time.
And why hasn't this been acclaimed like Einstein's E equals mc squared?
Well, why hasn't the fact that the United States government's been flying anti-gravity ships since 1956 been acclaimed? Or the fact that there's a crater on the moon with a base in it since 1954 we've known this? Well, possibly because they know this information's going to get out eventually anyway, and what I say won't make any difference, so...
There must be a great conspiracy of silence to keep George Van Tassel's secret of the universe away from the people.
No, it isn't to keep anything I know away from the people. It's to keep many things away from the people.
Let's talk about this picture. This is the time machine.
This is a picture of the machine we're building down there. This structure is actually up. We're working now on the parts on the equipment that operate it. This rim around here has armatures 57 feet in diameter, which will be better than 4 times bigger than the biggest armatures ever made before.
Which is what he built here. This is an electrostatic generator. The outside ring that you see that has these die rods sticking out of it, that was built to spin. That ring was built to spin. And as it spun, it would generate an electrostatic field, and that field would be conducted inside the building. And on the ceiling inside, it was meant to be lined with aluminum to create a massive dish. So this is a Tesla machine, right? So this dish would focus and amplify a huge positive ion field, which would kill us instantly. No one was meant to be upstairs when this was turned on. They were only meant to be downstairs. And then that field would be conducted downstairs by coils, a copper coil wiring on the ceiling downstairs, and a central pillar as a secondary coil, wired like a Tesla coil, reversed into a negative ion field. And people were meant to walk through that field. The structure itself is non-metallic. It took 18 years to build this structure. It's all made of Douglas fir. The 16 beams that you see, the spines, inside they're this thick and they're massive, and they go over a foot down into the ground, come up to the ceiling, to the top, where they're held together by an internal donut or capstone of 1.5 tons of concrete. There are no nails and no screws in its construction. It is all wood. The only place there's metal in the building is in the die rod armature that would spin. We've met a lot of scientists. They come from all over the world to check it out if they're in this area, because there's only one of these on the planet, and it's really rare and really special, and so they want to check it out themselves. These are neurophysicists and geophysicists and electrical engineers. So it has the potential to create fields of energy that could bend time, that could make things disappear, move, dematerialize. It has all that in its potential. It's never been tested for a lot of reasons. Our brains are very interesting devices, and they have lots of little doors and trapdoors and switches and fun places to explore. Sound is one of those things that can activate the brain and the body to such a place that if one can focus, and let go at the same time, sound can move you beyond all trapdoors. It's almost like they all just collapse or open. Yeah.
I say that what is occurring now has occurred before. There's many records of these ships landing throughout history, clear back into Sanskrit. And there are records in the 1898 Chicago newspapers that covered the front page for 3 days of a big ship setting over Chicago. When you realize we're dealing with a type of man that is almost as far above us in intelligence as we are above the lower animals, there isn't anything phenomenal in this at all.